The garden subfloor. As we all know by now, this is the prime focus of the next major Doors update. This will be a new area of the game themed entirely around nature and vegetation that can be accessed through the very first door of the greenhouse, according to a video teaser. Now, although this subfloor will be the main attraction of the next Doors update, there are several other new features that will also be implemented that aren't directly related to the subfloor itself, and I feel those should be recognized. So, in this video, we'll be going over every single confirmed new feature coming to Doors in the Garden Subfloor update that isn't related to the actual subfloor. Yes, you heard me right, there won't be any speculation in this video. All of these new things are almost definitely guaranteed to actually be implemented in the next update. So, with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright. So, first up, we have a bunch of new changes coming to the Crucifix. As you may recall, this item can banish entities, and it has a really cool animation when that happens. The most notable and well-known change is that the item will be receiving a brand new animation. If you recall, whenever you use a Crucifix in ranked mode, instead of it immediately glowing neon blue, it will actually first crack. Then the wooden bits will fall off, revealing an entirely neon blue inner core. This new animation is currently only limited to ranked mode, but it will be added to the main game in the very next update. Additionally, on the topic of Crucifix animations, it's also likely the yellow Crucifix will return in the next update. If you recall, whenever you crucified a subfloor entity with the Crucifix, the item would actually turn yellow in color rather than just staying blue the whole time, which is a feature which had heavy lore implications. Unfortunately, this mechanic was removed mere hours after it was released in the content update due to some bugs with the animation, but the developers have confirmed this special yellow Crucifix will likely return in the Garden Subfloor update. Lastly, at least in terms of the Crucifix news, the developers confirmed the item would be added to Jeff's shop in the mines. As you may know, although Jeff's shop in the hotel has a variety of items on display for players to purchase, in the mines, the exact same 5 items will only be purchasable every single run. This was something I really didn't like, as a lot of these items weren't really that useful, and especially given the low quantities of gold that spawn in the mines, in most playthroughs you couldn't even purchase anything. However, according to the developers, in the next update, a Crucifix will now have the chance of being displayed in the mine's Jeff shop. This makes me hope that even more items can be for sale there, but as of now, only the Crucifix is confirmed to return in the shop. And this will mean it will be a lot easier to obtain the Mines entity's Crucifix badges, as previously those were quite hard to get as you had to rely on finding a naturally spawned Crucifix, which was quite rare. Moving on though, from the Crucifix, another exciting new feature being added are entity indicators. Essentially, certain entities which previously were only visible to one player can now be visible to all via a special visual effect. The most notable entity indicator being added is the one with Screech. As you may know, when Screech is attacking one player, others around them are unable to tell when they are being attacked. This, however, will change in the very next update. According to the developers, players being attacked by Screech will now have a 3D model of the entity floating around their player character for other players in the round to see. And what's even cooler is that this 3D model will actually have custom animations not present in the normal version of the entity that attacks players. A beta version of this feature can actually be seen in ranked mode, but instead of the cool 3D model of Screech with custom animations, it's just a 2D image, which is clearly a placeholder. Still, it does function just like how the 3D model will, where other players will be notified when one is being attacked by Screech. Furthermore, this same entity indicator feature will exist with A90. Similar to Screech, when this entity attacks a player, everyone else in the round won't be able to tell, but that will change in the next update. Now, when players are attacked by A90, stop-sign particles will begin to emit around them, alerting other players that someone is being attacked. Now, unlike Screech, who will attack different players at different times, A90 will actually attack everyone at the same time. So this feature doesn't seem that kind of useful given how players would be too busy dealing with their own A90 to worry about anyone else's, but it is quite a cool visual effect and it could teach new players how A90 affects an entire group of people rather than just one person at a time, so I'm not complaining about this feature being added. Still, it would be kinda cool if A90 could attack different players at different times, but that's just a suggestion. Moving on though, the next confirmed addition coming to the game are updates to the admin panel. This is a special game pass which allows players to spawn entities, alter stats, and just overall mess with the game, and apparently players with it will now be receiving more abilities. One of the confirmed new additions is the ability to spawn Dracobloxers, which are a special entity that can be found in the April Fool's 2024 event. These creatures will chase players and deal damage to them when they come into contact, and they usually spawn in packs, so it's possible that when one is spawned using the admin panel, others may spawn alongside it. Still, given how the admin panel can spawn Jeff the Killer, it's only fitting the other iconic April Fool's entity would also be spawned with it. Additionally, another feature that will likely come to the admin panel is the ability to save custom entities. As you may recall, in the admin panel you can create custom rush variants, but unfortunately they don't save upon leaving the game. Apparently now they will in the next update, which is definitely an appreciated quality of life change. Lastly, in terms of admin panel changes, every single item introduced in ranked mode, such as the bombs and the bananas, will be able to be spawned with the admin panel, which should lead to some fun moments. Now, before I end off this video, there is one more new feature coming in the next update, and that is the Infinite Skeleton Key. As you may know, in addition to opening skeleton doors, skeleton keys can also be used like normal lockpicks. This behavior, although, will actually be enhanced in the next update, as now the item will basically function like an infinite lockpick, meaning once one is obtained, finding a key is no longer necessary for the remainder of the run, as you can just infinitely use that one skeleton key. Although this is a change I'm not 100% on board with since it feels too overpowered, it will definitely make the gameplay less time-consuming, so who am I to complain? So, to summarize, in the Garden Subfloor update, some additional non-Subfloor related features will be implemented. Those being a new Crucifix animation featuring the cracked wooden crucifix, the return of the yellow Crucifix animation, or the Curious Crucifix as some know it, the Crucifix being purchasable in the Mine's Jeff shop, Screech and A90 indicators to let other players know when someone is being attacked by one of those entities, new admin panel features such as spawnable Dracobloxers, custom entities saving between rounds, the new ranked mode items being able to be spawned with the admin panel, and lastly, the skeleton key can be used to infinitely as a lockpick. Sure, these additions may not be as interesting as the Garden Subfloor, but I still do think they deserve to be recognized as they are pretty cool and some just may help you progress through the game. So, with all of that being said, let me know in the comments what you think of these changes, and thank you all for watching and I hope you enjoyed.